In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a simple video game illustration like this using Adobe Illustrator. So the first thing you need to do is create a new web document. So choose Web and Common, and then go to Window Workspace and make sure you're on Essentials. So the first thing we're going to draw is this palm tree using some simple shapes. So we're going to take the ellipse tool and make this kind of flattened out circle, this oval shape. And I'm just going to go over here and make sure it's set on none to fill and a black stroke. You don't have to, but I kind of like starting out that way. Then I'm going to get the pen tool. So what you need to do here is just click some zigzaggy lines. Do not click and drag or you'll make a curve. So just click and let go, click and let go, click, click. And then at the bottom, you need to come all the way back around and join. When you see that little circle next to the pen tool, you know you're closing your path. So click there to close the path. All right, then we're going to get the selection tool and drag it around both of those objects to select them. Then get the shape builder tool. Press the Alt key and delete everything but the very top. So now we have like this oval with this jaggedy edge at the bottom. I'm just going to stretch it out, and now I'm going to go ahead and make it a color. I'm just going to choose different shades of green for each leaf. That's just going to be one of the leaves on the palm tree, a palm frond. Alright, so now I'm just going to copy and paste to make another one. I'm going to make this one, oops, let me get it off the outline. I don't want any outline. Click on the fill and then just choose a darker color. So I'm going to get a different green. And I copied and pasted another copy, and I'm going to make it a different green. Now I'm going to start putting these palm fronds together. So I'm going to rotate by going out to the corner. I'm going to flip this. So go to the rotate tool and choose reflect tool, and then right click on that and make sure it says vertical and say OK. And what that does, it just flips the palm frond around to face the other way so that they don't look, so copied and pasted. It looks a little bit different. You're going to use that quite a few times in this assignment, so we'll be visiting that again. So continue to just rotate these different color green palm fronds, change the size, squish them all a little bit different, and keep rotating them, making copies of them. Just going to rotate this one a little bit more, move it down with my arrow keys. Okay, so once I have it the way I want, I'm going to select all of them, and then I'm going to go to Object, Group. That way, every time I click on that, I will get all 4 of those palm fronds. It makes it a lot easier to work. So I'm going to select that group, and I'm going to go to the Reflect tool again, right-click it, choose Reflect, make it on vertical. This time I'm going to say Copy, because I want to copy the reflection to be a copy. And I'm going to move it over to the other side, and now you're going to see it's going to start looking a little bit more like a palm tree. So I'm going to edit the other side a little bit to make it a little bit different, shape, scale it some, rotate it a little bit. All right, so that will be the top of my palm tree. Now I'm going to get a rounded rectangle tool to make the trunk. So I'm going to click and drag down, and so I can have a palm trunk. I'm going to change the color to a brown. All right, I want to make a shadow on the trunk, so I'm going to copy 2 copies of it, and I'm going to put 1 copy just on the side of the other one. Select both, then get my shape builder tool and press the Alt key and get rid of all the intersecting shapes until I'm left with just a little slice on the right-hand side. And then once I have that little slice cut out with the shape builder, I'm going to make it a little bit darker brown so it looks like a shadow. Get it a little darker. There we go. And then drop it in on top of the trunk. Okay, now I'm going to select that trunk and I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. That way it puts the trunk behind all the palm fronds, and then Object, Arrange, Group. And then I'm going to make, now that palm tree will be one group. So every time I click on it, I'll be selecting all the shapes that are making up the palm tree. All right, now we're going to draw mountains with the pen tool. So let's get our pen tool out and just draw a bunch of jaggy lines again, like triangles. Doesn't have to be anything perfect, so like don't stress out trying to do too much. Just click different points on there up and down until you have a zigzag. And then don't forget to wait for the pen with the little circle next to it, and that means it's a closed path. Now I want to move that one point, so I'm going to get the direct selection tool and just pull that one point down so that it's straight at the bottom. The rest of the time you'll use the top selection tool. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and make some different color browns in there so it kind of looks like highlights and shadows in my mountain. So I'm going to draw different triangular shapes and change the color. I think I'm going to make my mountain purple though instead of brown. Let me change my other color to a purple color. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to get the pen tool again, and I'm going to continue to just click without dragging so that I don't make a curve, and make sure that I close every point. So after I draw a triangle, make sure that I'm getting that little circle symbol at the end of my pen tool so I know that the path is closed. Okay, this time I'm going to make this little area just a darker purple so it starts to look like shadows and highlights. If you make any mistakes, just press undo, Control Z. And if you do not close your path when you're done, it's going to start connecting all the shapes together. So if that happens, just press escape and close your path. All right, I'm going to select all of that and I'm going to group it. So Object, Group. Now every time I click on the mountain, I'll get all the shapes that make up the mountain. All right, now I'm going to use the rounded rectangle tool just to draw some type of ground because I'm going to make this look like a floating island. So this is going to be the ground of my island. I'm going to change the color. To a dark green. Now I'm going to start moving some of my elements that I made. I'm going to copy and paste the mountain. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to start going fast here so that while I'm just designing things, I'm just copying and pasting different elements and sizing them down to different sizes. All right, now I'm using the pen tool to draw the bottom of my mountain because it's going to look like it, or my island because it's going to look like it's floating. Now I'm going to draw a sun. So I have the circle. Now to get the sun's rays, I'm going to go to the star tool, which is in the same place as rectangles and ellipses are. But instead of having a 5-point star, I'm going to bump this up here to about 15. All right, and then I'm going to get the selection tool and just drag the corner of it and make it bigger, change it to orange. And then I'm going to move my sun and make it a little smaller and put it on top of the rays. But it's below it right now, so I need to go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. Then my yellow circle will be on top of the rays. Okay, now I'm going to select both of those and I'm going to group them. Object, Group. That way whenever I click on the sun, I'm getting the whole sun and not just pieces of it. All right, now I'm going to draw some clouds. So all you need to do to make clouds is just make a bunch of squished ellipses. So just draw the little circles or ellipses so that they're all touching, and then select them, and then you can use the shape builder tool, but instead of pressing the Alt key, we want to combine them. So do not press the Alt key. We want to combine them all into one shape. I'm going to change the color to a blue. If you're trying to change the color and it's not changing the color, it means you need to go back up and select it. So don't forget that. And I forgot that one little spot, so I to use the shape builder to go get it and combine it with the rest of the ellipses. Okay, I'm going to make another one of those clouds. So I'm going to draw a bunch of squashed ellipses, put them all next to each other. Now I'm going to select them all and use the shape builder tool and drag it over all the shapes so that they combine. So now I have a couple of clouds. Okay, now I'm going to get the rectangle tool and I'm going to draw a big rectangle behind everything, or on top of everything right now. It's going to be my background. So I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back, because I don't want that to be on top of everything. I'm going to pick a color. And I'm going to select it and go to Object, Lock. That way I don't accidentally select it when I'm grabbing my other elements on my page. Now every time I click there, it won't select it. That way I can click on things like this and move it around without moving my background with it. You could also do that by making it on a separate layer, which we'll do on our next assignment. So for now, I'm just going to move some of my elements around that I created, change the size a little bit, just get my arrangement the way I like. Then I'm going to get the pen tool and I'm just going to make some shadows on my underneath my island on this ground that's sticking out. So I'm just going to draw some brown triangles and zigzaggy lines. Alright, so watch the next video to see us finish this. I'm going to add some more stuff in there for you to check out.